When our PM said MCO or PKP, I'm like, what is that? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
can they even do that?
How do you think Malaysia did? I mean, overall, I think personally, say what you will, but I see how things are. Because my brother is Australian now, right? He lives there. When we had some of those, what's it called? EMs, I think EMs were enhanced MCO. Like some places were behind barbed wires and everything, right?
Yeah.
Then he said, "Oh my God, that's a bit heavy."
Yeah.
And then when Victoria, because he's in Melbourne, right? Then they started trying to keep people in there. Like, oh, now I see why you guys did it.
Yeah.
I thought that the authorities here did a great job.
Oh yeah.
But in your opinion, you think the tweak kind of worked out well?
I thought they did a good job. I mean, it was so funny. We were at that time going through a political, change. Like, that was the focus of Malaysia in the beginning. In March, in February, COVID was like, it's happening. It's somewhere there.
Yeah.
But what we're facing is, a change.
More immediate,
Yeah. So in the government, so that was what all the news was talking about, right? So to then have a new government and have this for them to deal with.
Not bad, right?
Not bad. And a lot of us were, I of course, I'm not going to say I'm for any side, but that was their biggest test, right? And all of us were worried, how would they cope? How would you cope with trying to deal with all of this? And we had such a rock star minister in health back then, the old government as well. So we were like, what if he goes? Who's going to be, leading this fight? And then of course DG,
our new rock star.
But
for the most part, even with all the political turmoil, I think at one point even the other side, at that particular point, they became the other side, right? They said no, just follow what they're saying, just stay put, and we did.
Yeah.
Malaysians. I'm always like, Malaysians, I cannot follow rules on what's going on, and then we did.
Yeah.
And I was impressed.
Yeah. I know, in the beginning, there were people who didn't. There were like, it's one thing I love about social media, and that time I think I save everybody's memes and videos just to remember this time. And there was a lot of videos going around. I think there was police videos from police cars. Going masuk rumah, and you see.
Buat apa keluar?
Dinasihatkan untuk sesat berada dalam rumah. Buat apa keluar?
There was this female cop. I love her. But she was yelling at people. Love her. Yeah.
So there was a lot of those videos at that time. So in the first few weeks, people were a bit lax. People were a bit like, well, I'm young, I'm healthy, it's not gonna happen to me. So, not totally understanding being asymptomatic and carrying the virus to someone older and someone who would be, in not a good place if they got the virus. So the first few weeks, and then I think the law enforcement that seemed harsh was necessary.
Yeah.
Because we needed to flatten the curve, and we needed to do it quickly.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that was to really just, go all out. So, the amount of, if you think about the back end of the amount of work the government had to go through in order to make that happen, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, we saw the amount of like PSAs that came out.
Yeah.
Posters, everything that came out to inform the public of what next and what's this, and and so many things. If you think about it, the dana that came out that in order to help facilitate that on the medical side with the frontliners and what to do and the rules, and then of course they made mistakes along the way, but I think in that short period of time,
but everybody was making mistakes. Every government in the world was making mistakes.
Correct.
Right?
And and I loved, of course, the KKM was so stoic.
Yeah.
They led with no BS.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the truth and this is this.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was no flowering it like, okay, if we do this, it's going to be pretty. No, it's dire.
Yeah.
Stay in, or we will be Italy.
Correct.
I remember he
at
said
point,
that
right?
at one point. Yeah. So it was good, like that kind of like no BS stuff is really helpful for people to just go, okay, I get it.
Yeah. But at any time though, did you go, how bad can this be?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I did.
Because before I was paranoid about not wanting to go out because the numbers weren't crazy high yet, and all you think were like, people, like the news said people were eating bats in China, and then it's there, right?
Yeah.
That's what the news was about.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come here, and then we had 1 or 2 cases here. I'm like, it's not gonna get to me.
Yeah.
Did you think that at any
I mean,
point?
it was so funny, right? Because now it's a bit muddled from what I know from the documentary and what I knew before the documentary. So, I don't know whether I felt that way, that it was very far away and it wouldn't come to us. It was funny, right? Because like pandemic, I think a lot of people had to Google a lot of stuff.
I know, yeah.
What is it? What is
Flatten the curve.
Yeah,
What
flatten-
curve is this?
Yeah, it's like, what? I think I first heard it when Jacinda Ardern said we've got to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that even mean?
Yeah.
And then when our PM said MCO or PKP, I'm like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
can they even do that?
Yeah.
Like, what act is that even allowed?
We've
on,
never even gone through this before, right?
We've never gone through that. So a lot of things, and then announcing it as a pandemic. It's like, okay, what's the difference between pandemic? Like all the stuff. It's just a lot of jargon that we all had to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
So yes, at one point I did think like, oh, okay, because the first cases were in Sarawak,
Yeah.
far away, and then then there was for Malaysians before there was Chinese nationals that came through Singapore.
Yeah.
Again, they found them and they isolated.
Yeah.
I think when it started to be a little bit more, now our government took effect really fast. The MCO was announced March 18,
Yes.
and
That's one of the dates that we'll always remember, right? Yeah.
probably needs like T-shirts.
Yeah, right.
Like the
Do you remember March 18th? Right?
March
Yeah.
18, and WHO announced that it was a pandemic on March 11.
Yeah.
So we didn't really take that much longer from.
And they were really holding off from actually
Yes.
calling it a pandemic at that point, right?
Yes, yeah,
Because it needs to be a global thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many things that have to go into it being called a pandemic, because
Yeah.
once you do that, then it's official that So I thought we reacted very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing is though, I know because I'm in media. I get fed all this information as well, and I know all this stuff. I know a lot more than other people.
Yep.
Which kind of freaks me out sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to say this, but there's whispers that the MCO might be extended and stuff like this. So I'm like, but I'm not allowed to say anything because I'm like, I don't know, I might
Cause
cause
a panic.
or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not allowed to say stuff. But now, you see like all these documentaries coming out around the world about what happened in this part of the world, that
Yeah.
part of the world, and like, wow, it was a lot worse
Yeah.
in the US. Like they had no control in many cases.
They still don't.
Right?
Yeah, they
It's-
still don't have control.
It's out of, and you need a good leader
Yeah.
in many ways, right? And
Yeah.
here I think it was led by the health ministry that
Yeah.
they were like, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, they were the ones that make recommendations to the government.
Yeah.
So, they kind of like, they see the trends, they see what's happening, then they kind of have to talk to, so they work together with the government and they make the recommendation to go, it is in the best interest of the people if this was to happen.
Yeah.
And of course the government then takes that into consideration to go, yes, but what
Economy,
are the
this
economy?
and
Yeah,
that.
But to our government's benefit, they went health first.
Yeah.
So we were quite united, I have
Yeah.
to say.
I was quite proud. I was quite
Yeah.
like, hey, no better.
If you or I have COVID, then this is not okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They say it's 6 feet is the distance, but
Yeah. I find that they're learning a lot more. Like sometimes 6
Yeah.
feet, oh no, it's
Or
not.
maybe
No,
not,
you need
yeah.
it to be further.
Correct.
They're learning so much.
exactly.
Right.
And you feel like they've done such a good job, and everybody in KKM, especially the special task force under the DG, that they must be just so tired.
Yeah.
Every day I don't think they've had a holiday.
Yeah.
And that's really where I hope that Malaysians understand that the MCO was really to give everybody a break,
Yeah.
to kind of get on top of things. And if we don't keep practicing,
Reset, right?
then it's kind of like we're really no better than the countries that we're here that have stubborn citizens.
There's this small spattering 5% who still go, alah, nothing lah. Okay, I bring my kids out, everything. They're bored at home.
Yeah.
What can I do? What do you say to these people?
So if you're doing it because you're bored and you still you bring your kids out just for the sake of it because you think, oh, it's all over.
Yeah.
And when you actually have a choice not to, then that's really, really silly.
Yeah.
But if you're, then there are also people who just, they need a bit of escape. It is a choice between chancing it and living the way they have been and are. Right? So I think if you can, do what's right. Help out in what we're trying to do here, which is
Yeah.
trying to combat something that nobody has faced on this planet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, why would you want to put anybody in danger?
Correct.
You know, now they say, because at one point they're like, oh, it's not affecting kids. Now, you know, it is affecting kids.
Hey, dude, at one point I didn't want to go visit my mom and dad.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Because it was 10 kilometers. Was it 10 kilometers or the radius?
Yeah.
And then they were within 10 kilometers. And I'm like, then I didn't know how to tell them.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I should come and visit you guys. Then my mom was like, no, don't come here.
Yeah. Actually,
Stay away.
my mom was the same. My mom was like, y'all don't need to come, thanks.
I know, right?
I thought she'd be like, come over,
I know,
you know?
right? Yeah.
No, she's
Let me
like,
cook
no,
for
no,
you.
it's okay, thanks.
My mom was like, no.
Yeah. Just stay away.
Yeah, I made masks, so I'll send it to you.
I know, my mom made masks too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the other thing. Everybody started making masks.
Yeah.
And that's a skill.
It's great because I've got all these different designs. And people are like, so I don't know whether you know Teguh Zatasha as a
Yes,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
she's making all these masks and everything. And she got this girl to do it all for people that she's sponsoring. And then
Yeah.
she saw my mask. Hey, where do you get your mask from? I was like, my mom. And then she's like, we're talking. We would never talk masks a few years ago.
Yeah.
This is not a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
WHO awarded him, or Malaysia anyway, for doing such a great job
Yeah.
in containing this virus. So it was Malaysia and Singapore and whatnot. And sometimes I think we praised like people in the West and the foreigners a bit too much.
Correct. We
Right.
don't see that we actually, because everyone's like, kind of like, oh yeah, Malaysia did alright. Oh, you know, like one thing we do wrong, right? Be like, oh yeah, Malaysia didn't do that. Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, sorry lah, but
Yeah.
we did a very good job
Right.
on this. Yeah, and I'm not saying, you know, if you know me, I'm not one to like praise for people for like the sake of like nothing. Right?
Yeah.
These are like
They deserve it, right?
They deserve it, and give credit where credit is due lah.
How long do you think this is going to last though?
Oh my god, we asked the DG this, I think. Then he didn't answer really. But he said, you know, it's like the how we combat things is with the strength of the nation. So it's like whether we patuh the SOP lah, as he says. Do we follow the SOPs? Do we look at this as, you know, and something that we do it together, and that we make sure that we follow everything that the guidelines that the government gives us? Yes. Yeah. How long? I don't know. That's
No,
That's
you didn't give a
science.
timeline? 2 years, 3 years, will be fine by then.
no. I think the earliest everybody said was 2022, right?
Seriously. Oh yeah, I keep
That was
hearing
the earliest.
2022, and I think it was just recently that I just saw this you know, every year there's a color scheme or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right, so I think I just showed you, right? So DUWUWT came up with this one and said that 2021 is gonna be brave ground.
Brave ground.
Brave, brave ground. I think that should be the color for this year. So it's very earthy tones and everything. That should be 2020. I think we were damn brave, right?
Yeah, I
We
think
did
so.
a damn good job.
I think Malaysians did a good job.
Yeah.
As simple as that. It's like they couldn't do what they did if we didn't stay in the house and follow the SOPs.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Glad you liked it. Now, if you want to check out a full discussion on all our other episodes, click right here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.